Thanks so much, Jacob, for joining me today. We just jumped off a Clubhouse talking about a really awesome topic, and really is an end to our session. So we've been running for the past 6 weeks, our 12th session, which is part of New Realtor Marketing and Mindset. Scaling your business is one of my favorite topics, and is something that you and I are passionate about. And we really started doing this earlier on in our business because of various things, because of our background in marketing and business planning, but particularly because some of the aspects and tools that we have access through our brokerage. I love this conversation because often, and our sponsor, Mike Sherrod, says this often too, is that our agents often do things, not what they always do what they want to do, but not what they need to do. And scaling your business is one aspect of that. And I think for me, understanding my capacity, understanding what, I have a lot of other things that like I told you, I have young kids and I have a full-time job, and I needed to build a framework of how I'm going to use this license and the type of results that I want out of it. So I started scaling from the beginning. And and a lot of the times people think about scaling their business, and Shane Carvalho, he was our guest today, and he brought in tons of different insights to our discussion. And he is a great example of someone who's successful, who started at a very young age in this industry and who's really built quite the momentum. And that's why we brought him in today to really share some of his insights. And what I resonated with for that is, you don't have to wait for your business to kick off for you to really start planning ahead, and one of the things that I'm doing right now is relying heavily on my CRM. It truly is a nucleus and anchor to my business. I integrated everything. A lot of what I do is directly through my CRM, from lead nurturing to lead conversion. Lead generation happens through my CRM, and even through other efforts like my YouTube and other social media where I'm bringing in leads, I directly put them through my CRM. Even when my sphere messaged me privately through my phone, I put them in my CRM. And, and I think that if you make a business that is automated and using tools that you have access to, right, folks, like make sure you go back to your brokerage, go back to your broker, and you ask them, what do I have available? What am I paying for? And a lot of new agents don't do that. And they have tons of training. And I know it may feel like at the beginning, it feels like a burden and it feels like it's taking a lot out of you, but take the first couple of weeks to take it all in, because knowledge is power, because it's only going to take your business to the next level.
No, I totally agree. And one thing I like that we talked about was making a plan to scale. One thing Shane said that I like that he took it a step further is, we talked about, reevaluating your business every year. He said, do it every month, look at the things that you're implementing. Are you getting that return on your investment? Is it making you money? Is it costing you money? Or is it actually costing you business? Are you getting the return that you wanted from that? And we talked about, virtual assistants. You don't have to have like a full-time administrative assistant. There are all kinds of virtual assistants now. They're super popular that you can train to help you in your business for those areas that you're weak in and that are very time consuming, that don't make you money. So you can focus on the deals that make you money. And a lot of times, I know me personally, even scaling my digital marketing business, sometimes we get caught up wasting our time in these little things that don't make us money. Yeah. Like trying to get everything so neat and organized, and just because we prefer it that way, that we're not focused on, talking to clients and closing deals, that we could actually farm that out to somebody for really a fraction of what we would make if we were closing more deals. So you've got to look at that in your business, and you got to have a plan to scale. Miguel and I have sat down, working together as a team, and we know where we want to go with our business, and we're slowly making plans on how we want to scale that. Our first step, that once we've got a good grasp on how to do all the transaction documents and all the paperwork, is that we want to hire a transaction coordinator, And what most people don't understand on our side in the States with a transaction coordinator is you don't pay them up front, which is a great thing. They help you as a part of that deal, that once you get the client and the deal's closing, that they get paid out of that commission at the closing table. So those are great things to start implementing, to that way you're not chasing down clients, trying to get them to sign. You can be on the next client. Even our broker, who's amazing, Rick, he talked about this past week in one of our meetings and telling us about how we need to stop wasting time on those little things and not be afraid to farm that out or to delegate it to somebody else. That once you've got your client, you need to be on to the next one. And you gave the perfect example of that. Your seller, you thought you were firm sold, and then he got COVID. That whole deal could have fell through. And so, if it would have fell through, then you wouldn't have had another client. But I know you already on to the next client too, working and making sure you got your pipeline full. So I think that's a big, big step in scaling your business, is realizing what you need to delegate. Obviously, you got to have money, but what you need to delegate once you start getting business, and when you should do that, and start doing that research and figure out what that looks for you, and make sure somebody's feeling in your weaknesses with their strengths, and then you're really focusing on what you're good at and scaling that as well.
Absolutely. And everything really comes back to your goal setting, right? And business planning. And that's why I personally, on my level, I have a biannual check-in my calendar that comes up and says, visit your business plan. Are you still up to, and it's okay for your goals to change, right? Because that's part of growing your business. Like, I would have never thought that I'd be building my team 5 months into my business. And, I have 8 people across North America on my team, and I'm, and that is, and it's not a very traditional team, right? It really is a passive income, it's a residual income, it's a different type of income stream that people have no clue what that is, so, and you won't know what that is until you ask question, until you take it all in and find out what type of brokerages are out there and how that can help you with scaling your business. Like, I think that our brokerage is instrumental for us. We talked about this many times about how access to the structure of our brokerage is another instrumental, vital to how my business is scaling as well, not just tools, but the type of income streams that are available for us. And when you talk about, I love that talking about virtual assistants and VAs, because often, we often think that once we get busy, we'll look into getting resources, and you don't need to have an executive assistant or someone who's hand-holding you, who you have to really, they're the backbone of your business. It's not quite like that. I love that you mentioned that, figure out where your weak spot is, where your gap is. And that could be simple as your YouTube editing could be done through somebody else. If you don't know how to do it, and if it's daunting for you, easy. You could easily outsource that, because the time cost, right? That's what another thing that we don't often calculate is, we're like, oh, it's easy to do, I'll figure it out. But often it'll take you a couple of days to figure out, where you could have paid someone $7, in US dollars, to kind of maybe put together a quick edit job but often we don't think like that. So I think it's really important that you look at what isn't working and try to figure out a solution for that up front. And that's part of scaling your business up front. And lastly, I want to come back to, part of scaling your business is building a team. And, and some of the ways that I'm doing it is, I have some agents in the greater Toronto area that I'm part of. And some of my buyers, there were some buyers that I told you this, Jacob, like, buyers can, obviously buying is a big decision, so the people want to find the right property for them to move to. So I was driving this, a couple of my buyers for 20 houses, 30 houses. And it was exhausting. It was a lot of time that I was putting in showing them properties. And I realized that I may not be the right person for them. And I've assigned them to, and I've literally assigned some of the lead in my CRM to someone on my team. This way I'm making a rev share profit as well as a revenue share. So win-win-win. And I think that, and I'm not letting this client go. So I think that, think about, you don't have to hold everyone dearly close to you, all your clients, even if something isn't working. Think strategically of how you can let them go, but keep them closer, right? And I think that, figure out how you want to scale your business up front. And I think you're going to laugh when I say this. It really comes back to the initial conversation we had. And that's why we call this marketing and mindset, because everything we do is around mindset. You can have all the resources in the world and be miles away because you wake up every day thinking that, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this, right? So yes, you are. The fact that you're listening to us is you're ready for this. This is what Jacob and I are here for, right, guys? Feel free to, in our comment below, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in our comment. Myself and Jacob will get back to you. And we also have a link in our description for a private one-on-one conversation for us to share some of the ideas ideas that would, and how we're scaling our business as well. And we're happy to share that with you. So feel free to connect with us and follow us on our social media account to see the new things we're up to, because we're going to take this session on to another level. And I want all of you to tune in. Any last word before we close the conversation?
One thing I like that you said was to use your brokerage. And when you're scaling your business, make sure your brokerage can actually grow with your business, that they have what to offer. You know, most brokerages are still in the traditional way of doing things where you can only earn one way. And some have a few others, but you know, that's why we chose where I'm at, is because I wanted to build a business. I've had another business, and there's several different ways that you earn income as a business. And that's one thing that I knew right away, that I wanted to be a broker, because I wanted a sales team. You know, not only did I want to do all these transactions, but also if I decided to take a vacation, I wanted still some income to come in, and, you know, with your team. And that's the way every business works. You know, the business owner is not the only one doing business. And so that was very grateful, where I was happy with our brokerage that they allowed us immediately to build a sales team. You know, I have an agent in California, and I wasn't expecting that within my first, 90 days in a business to start building a team right away. And that is one of the great things. And I'm very happy to have found right away a brokerage that will allow me to grow the way I want to, and they can keep up and have the technology, and honestly, to be the future in real estate. And it's exciting to be a part of that. And I'm glad that we were able to connect on this level and do this series. And we're here to help. So if you need us, just reach out to us. All of our contact information is in our bios on all of our social media channels. So we're excited, and we'll keep this going.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jacob. And keep in touch and have a wonderful night.
You too.